Hi, morning, everyone. Well, it's morning here, but yeah. And again, thank you so much for agreeing to chat with me. And one of the reasons I'm doing this, June is Pride Month, and also two, it is Immigration Heritage Month, sorry, in June. So I just want to kind of get an understanding of sometimes why the community might move and also to what that looks like. So what I will start with is asking, can you please share your preferred name, where you were born, and where you live now?
My name is Dario. I go by him pronouns. I was born in Barbados and I currently live in Toronto, Canada.
Cool. And are you a part of the LGBTQ plus community?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so could you share with me kind of what it was like growing up being part of or coming into that?
Growing up in Barbados, my when I first started to get feelings of liking the same sex, I tried very hard to hide them and very hard to growing up in a Christian society. I was taught that it was wrong, so I kind of really tried to in my younger years, from 15 to 18, was when I really struggled with accepting myself. Um, Through that, at 18 is when I kind of decided that this is the this is the life I'm gonna have to live. Prior to that, I did deliverance sessions trying to be straight, and I would have spoke to my youth pastor about it because I was very involved in church growing up, and I was taught that being gay was wrong, and I lived in a society that where people were scrutinized, and my mom, she didn't take it quite well initially, and it was a very intense and a difficult situation growing up, and um, it was only around 18 that I kind of accepted myself fully, but with that, I also had to still live a quite private life to be able to sustain myself in Barbados. Um, I really tried to make a life in Barbados work and make it. Um, I obviously really wanted to stay home, um, but I found like living in Barbados, the life that I would have had and the quality of life that I would have had would have been less than what I would have wanted, and that's one of the main reasons to why I at the end migrated.
Thank you
Mhm.
for sharing that. And if it takes me a minute to come back, it's because I have to then find the, click and whatever. Um, so you just mentioned that's why you migrated. So that kind of my other question was why did you leave? And I will still ask that is why did you leave? And was it an easy decision in making coming to that point where you were like, okay, I'm gonna migrate?
No, it was not. This was the second time that I had in my mind to go. The first time I changed my mind, um it was one of the most difficult decisions because I had to leave everything that I know to go to a place that I really didn't know. Leave all my friends, all my family, all my loved ones, leave everything to pursue a new life. So it was very, very difficult. I found for me, in the 3 months prior to me leaving, I really had to try to detach from people and detach from things so that it would make the move easier. Um, yeah, but it was a very difficult decision. For me, there were three things that happened that kind of really pushed me over the edge to leave. I do music, so I did a music video with the videographer. We did the video, we did a photo shoot. After the photo shoot, we spoke about branding, and I'm not sure what exactly happened, but I know the photo shoot, the photo session was done in an area where I lived. So I'm not sure if the people there had spoke to him, and I don't know exactly what happened, but I know after the photo shoot, he spoke about branding. And 2 days later, he said that his hard drive got corrupted and he was unable to reshoot, unable to provide me with any footage, and that I would have to find somebody else to do the video. And I knew what that was, and I knew that it was because he didn't want his brand attached to me. And after doing all the work, it was very it sent me into a little bit of a depression because this is my first music video I was trying to release here and in Barbados, and it didn't go how I wanted it. The second thing that happened, being part of Beige to the World, the competition, I felt like the judge at the semifinals, he vocally said some inappropriate stuff, and he mocked my voice on stage, and this was all seen on national TV. And then the organizers assured me that he wouldn't be a judge in the finals and he wouldn't be there, but he still was. He was still, they moved him from being a judge to being a correspondent, so he would just be speaking about the performances and not actually judging them, but they still gave him a microphone and allowed him to speak despite of what happened at the semifinals and how he spoke to the contestants. And that was against what they agreed to the contestants. What that was different to what they told us that was going to happen. And we only found that out the night of the show that he was going to be a correspondent. And I just felt like because it was a government-led program, and I felt like they didn't care about the contestants. They were more thinking about the show and not about the contestants, and that left a bitter taste in my mouth. And I told myself that it's clear that in this competition they didn't care. So those two things kind of really showed me that trying to pursue music or a career in Barbados would have been difficult. And even in my relationships, I found that all of them, we had to really be behind closed doors. Whether it be going out, we wouldn't be able to do a restaurant because people might see two guys sitting at a restaurant and think something. And it was a lot of those childhood trauma that affected a lot of the males in Barbados. So we would not be able to live a comfortable life, even trying to. It was always behind closed doors. Couldn't go to the movies. You go to your drive-in because it's behind closed doors. So it's a lot of stuff like that, and I didn't want to live my whole life like that, and I didn't want to feel like the life that I deserve. Being a gay male in Barbados is one of being private, so that society is not affected. And I didn't want that life for me. I really tried. That's why it took me so long to leave when I left that when I was 29. That's why it took me so long to leave because I really loved Barbados and I really loved my home. But I knew that I had to make the decision for me and think about the betterment of the life that I want, the life that I envision. Um, I I've thought about marriage since I was 11. And at 11, I dreamt of it with a girl. But when um, stuff, when my sexuality came to fruition, I my dreams of having a marriage or having a love was had to be altered to fit the society that I was living in. Um, so I know that me marrying a guy would be a very difficult situation if I was to live in Barbados. So for all of those reasons, I felt it was best for me to leave, to pursue a better and fuller life.
Thank you for sharing that. And how is life there now, where you are in Canada?
It's good. I wouldn't lie and say that the first year was very difficult transitioning. Um, I dealt with a lot of anxiety. I'm still dealing with anxiety. Um, and I think it's really come from coming from where I was in Barbados, where I was really putting on a mask and I was really being what I thought would keep me safe. Now I'm in a society that I can be who I want to be, and people really don't care. Um, and I now have to try to find and decide who am I, because I would have not gone out a lot in Barbados because I didn't want to just to avoid attention or to avoid instances. But now, is it that I didn't like to go out? I'm not a person that likes to go out, or was it that I didn't do that just to be safe? So now I have to really do some searching in myself and find out who I am, because I altered stuff that I liked to really keep myself safe. And it's a challenge that I'm dealing with, really trying to find myself. Um, I think I found him. Um, and the difficult thing about that is I'm 30 years old, and this is the first time that I'm fully myself, and I robbed myself of fully living my truth for 29 years. So coming here and being able to fully express myself is a beautiful thing. Even in my music, I would have shied away from using certain pronouns just to keep it neutral. But now I don't have to think about those things. I can be fully expressive as I like. And it is a new and also still scary experience and a scary journey that I'm going to be going on, fully becoming myself. But all in all, Canada is a place that is full of opportunities, full of great experiences. There's a lot of stuff to do here. Um, yes, I am a bit isolated, being that I moved by myself. I don't have any immediate family here. Um, but that is the choice that I took to live a fuller and better life for myself. So all in all, it's a good and interesting. No problem. Adding on to that point, I find that relationships as well are very different here. I can count the amount of times that I've went to on a date in Barbados, and um, my experience would be very different dating here, because I wouldn't have ever gone to a bar and just meet a guy, because that's not something that you would do in Barbados. And the if you think about my younger experience, I've been robbed of those moments of just meeting somebody, having a conversation, and it developing into something. I would have never experienced that, because in Barbados you don't meet guys like that. It wouldn't be safe to do that. So there's a lot of these experiences that I now have to fully embrace and fully experience at this age.